yours, Travis.
Hello, I'm Travis. And really great to be here. Have some good nerves going, only because I'm excited to be with all of you. Um, my favorite people are in this room right now. So, well, it started, gosh, somewhere around 2017 or 18, I believe. I saw a documentary on Kratom, and I love you too. I saw a documentary on Kratom, and I was fascinated by this compound or this plant. And I also had chronic pain, in my behind my back and my shoulder. Yes, that is the one, leap of faith. I thought, wow, interesting. Maybe this will help my chronic pain. So I went to the nearest smoke shop and I got some, and I was like, wow, oh, that helped my pain, and I feel like I just took a Percocet. Um, okay, I should be careful with this, and I was pretty careful with it. Um, and I didn't jump in full swing. I just knew that this was powerful stuff, and I had a surgery. The timeline, I don't know how long it is from point A to B, but I'm gonna stay on track. I had a surgery, and I had a bilateral inguinal hernia surgery, and I had severe pain in my in the groin area, and the doctor miswrote the prescription for me when I got out, and my last pain medicine that I took was at 12. They let me go at 4, and I was asking for another one, and they said you're gonna go. Your girlfriend's taking you to get your prescription, and so I was like, okay. So they wheeled me to the car. I jumped in the car, and we're sitting in traffic in Los Angeles in rush hour, and I hadn't had any medication since 12. It's 4 p.m. I had 2 surgeries, and it got intense fast. And so we stopped to get the medicine, and the doctor miswrote the prescription, and I couldn't get any medicine. It didn't get corrected till 9 p.m. that night. Just to give you a time frame of that, I never got ahead of the pain. It was severe, and I was having panic attacks. I was waking up thinking my body was turning on me, and I went to the ER thinking I was rejecting the mesh they put in my body, and it was just a nightmare of severe pain, and like, man, how could they do this? Like, how I just felt completely powerless and unsafe, and I didn't feel safe with my girlfriend. I just didn't feel safe at all. It was a nightmare. And I would wake up in the middle of the night and like cough or sneeze, and I'd have this lightning pain going through my body. And so I had remembered kratom, and I got some kratom, and I was walking around. I was up. I didn't feel pain, which is very stupid because I wasn't letting myself heal properly, which exacerbated the pain when I stopped the kratom. A long beginning story short, I healed. I got better, got help with all that. Everything was fine, and then kratom was just something at the store, just maybe a tool if I needed or whatnot. But then I started kind of like enjoying it and recreationally using it, but never got out of hand. Never spent tons of money. It was just something quick and easy and fun. And then I would read or meditate, or thought I was, and then that was it. And then when I ran out, I ran out. Started working a couple of different jobs, and I was on my feet a lot, and I was exhausted, and started taking more kratom. And then I was like, oh wow, I need to taper off of this, because I'm feeling with my nose is like running when I'm not on it. And had an easy taper. It wasn't it wasn't a big deal to me, and it wasn't making my life unmanageable and miserable. And that lasted off and on for throughout the pandemic. Now in the pandemic, I remember just, ordering it, taking it, and playing on my phone. I think like I gave myself like tendonitis in my thumb because I was playing the surfing app like on my phone, doing nothing in during the pandemic, but just taking kratom. After the shutdown phase of the pandemic, when everything was still like not back in session, I left. My relationship was falling apart, drifting apart, and I went back to Louisiana for 10 months to live with my dad. We had a hurricane in our town, and I went back to help do the recovery stuff. And sure enough, kratom was actually in the gas stations. In LA, they were just in the smoke shops, and I was like, oh wow. So I started taking kratom. And I was also starting to smoke cigarettes with my dad, And then I felt shitty about that, and I wanted to quit cigarettes. So I was like, maybe I'll just take some kratom, and that'll get me off cigarettes. And I took a bunch of kratom, and I was riding with my dad. I just threw up everywhere. It didn't help. And I was like, all right, enough of this. I drove across the country on kratom to go be with my dad and to go help him out. And still, it wasn't. I could put it down. It didn't have. I didn't have the mental obsession and the intense craving. It's just something that I was using to cope with life and the loss of my relationship and my 7-year relationship and the, sort of the depressed world, during all that really challenging time, insanity. And I got a job that brought me back to Los Angeles. And again, this was 3 years ago. Kratom was like sometimes not. Got in a relationship that I'm in now. And I started using it, and it started to like progress. Like anytime it would progress and I think I needed it and I was taking handfuls, it would scare me to become addicted to it. And I would just stop, or I would do like a quick taper, and I wasn't having physical symptoms of really brutal withdrawals. It was just like, oh, I'll just taper off when it gets out of hand. And I thought I was controlling it. Meanwhile, it was being very tricky with me, and always there, and always I would be irritable. I started to be irritable when I was taking it. Snappy, you know. After I took it, that's how it started. After I took it, after this sort of come down, I would just not like the way that I felt and who I was. And I'll tell you what, I somehow was able to do this for a good handful of years, and then the kratom drinks, the extracts, I didn't like spending that much money for such a quick thing, so I was trying to get creative, and I would get one every now and then as a treat, but I was taking a lot of pills and a lot of powder, and that was the thing I think was the most economic thing that I could think of with my best thinking. And so I would treat with the extracts every now and then, but then the what do you call it? I didn't get, the feel freeze made me feel sick, and then I would still take them, and then they made me feel sick. I'd get a big rush, and then I'd feel sick. And slowly, this is the insidious experience of kratom for me. It like infiltrated my life so gradually and slowly, and made it seem normal and made it seem okay and a tool. And then I was irritable, and I was aware of it, and I was like, okay, I need to back off. Or I would go surfing, and I'd have a neck pain, and I need to stop and get some kratom. And it was just this slow burn until I went I went to this shop where I'd get kratom that was way overpriced during work because I was just tired all the time. And I didn't like working where I was doing this work, and I was miserable, and I would go to this shop and I'd spend money, and then one day they had these seltzers in there, and I was like, oh wow, I can do this. This is like $7 a pop. It's controlled. I'll have one. That's it. And I would pound it on an empty stomach and get right, and then it was on repeat. And then that was a problem, and I stopped. I got a job to go out of town. I work in the entertainment business, and I went out of town to work in Texas. And I knew I'd be safe because I was going to be in this house way out in the middle of the country, you know, way out in the middle of nothing. And we lost some. There was someone lost a relative, and it happened to be the person that was that had the vehicle that was taking us around and doing things like that. And so I was like, okay, cool. I'm really out here, and I don't have kratom, and I can't get kratom, and I'm cool. And this is gonna be just great. Gonna just stop it now. I'm gonna stop. This will be my end point. And I was like, I got it. And lo and behold, we go, and one night we all decide to go out to dinner, and they round us up, and I started thinking, and I was like, I said, we leave, and I was like, oh, you know what? I need some contact solution. I'll just get some from a gas station, you know. I need it for my contacts. Just wait in the car. I'm gonna hop out. I'll be right back. Does anybody want anything? And I went in there and found it, and it happened to be. And of course, I'm on my phone looking at it, you know, reading it. What is this? What is, you know, blah, 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 educating myself on it. And it's some strong, potent stuff. And then I was off to the races. I say this because I often thought if I remove myself from it, then I'll be safe. But hell no, I will find it. I will find it. And if I don't find it, I'll find it when I do find it, because I'd be obsessed about it in some way. Like, can't wait to try it after this long of being off. Something will come up that I don't want to deal with, and I'll want kratom so I can just relax or work, or I'm tired. And okay, so I'm getting to it. I came back from that job, and then I was back at like side hustle stuff, and I started drinking those elixirs. I found another place, not elixirs, the seltzers. I found another place down the street. I was drinking them. They were low dosage. And then I was like, that's not enough. I'd go back down and have more. And I just started. I found this lake I take my dog to in Echo Park. After I take my dog there in the morning, I stop by this grocery store. They have it, and then I could not stop. And I'm like, gotta stop wasting so much money. Gotta stop. I could not stop. I just couldn't stop. And then my girlfriend's like, what's wrong? You're so irritable. And I'm like, oh, nothing. I'm just tired. I'm just so tired. And it's true. I thought I was just so fucking tired. I was tired. I didn't feel good. I was too tired to like be intimate with my girlfriend. And then it was also scaring me at the same time. This is the nightmare. I was like, man, what's wrong with me? I guess this is what 41 is like. I'm in my 40s now. This is what it's like. You just get tired and you just work. But I love my girlfriend so much. I don't want this to affect I thought that was it. But I got really irritable, and I was miserable, and I was spending way too much money, and I was having way too much of it, and I could not stop. It got out of hand, and I could not stop, and it scared me that I couldn't stop, because I'm a pretty driven person, and it terrified me, and I didn't know where to take it. I didn't want to tell her, and I thought I need to taper. I tried to taper, and it wasn't enough. I picked up more, and I was like, that's it. I tried to taper, didn't work this time, and I have to stop. I know where this goes. I know where this goes. I have too much to be grateful for that I'm missing and I'm not being present, and this is obsession and I cannot stop it. And so I went to I was in the middle of a taper and I went to see a concert. No, 4th of July I went to see the Dodgers play. And the 4th of July is amazing because they have fireworks and stuff. And I didn't have I didn't drink any water. I didn't drink any water there. I had like kratom all day, and I realized, and I just absentmindedly didn't drink water. I ate food, but I drank maybe a soda or something, and we go to the car, and I can't find my car. I'm like turned around, and then I start feeling like a shitty man, how I'm losing it. And then the fireworks are going off, and everything's sounding so loud. And then I look and my gas tank is on empty and we're sitting in traffic when I finally found my car, and I'm like panicking that I can't keep myself or my girlfriend safe. And it just, my fears went insane. And I got home and the fireworks were still going, and it was absolutely miserable. And I started having panic attacks, I just started having panic attacks, and I couldn't tell her. I was bottled up. A few days later, I got invited to see the Rolling Stones, and music's one of my deepest passions and loves, and I hated it. I was miserable. It hurt to hear. It hurt to be in that crowd because of kratom. And then I was like, man, I started thinking, I haven't touched my instruments, and I don't remember how long. I don't want to do anything. When I get the creative work in show business, yeah, I love doing that, and I go do it. But I'm not like doing anything for fun anymore. Like I'm just at this vibrating at this very, very low level. I thought that was just my age. So here's what happened. Enough was enough. And I just started Googling, and I found the podcast, and I listened to that podcast, and I couldn't believe what I was hearing. And I became like fans of every speaker on the podcast, and the ones that are here. I became fans, and I just listened, and I was still using, and but I was tapering, and then I would listen and listen and listen. And then I found the meetings, and I was tapering, and then the first meeting, someone gave me the signal, and then I just started on the signal. Like I wanted to get well, and I kept my camera on because I didn't want to hide how shitty I felt, because I needed to be honest with myself. And this has nothing against anyone who doesn't want the camera on, but I needed to like see my fucking face going through hell and being honest with you, because I was like lying to myself, and I was lying to everybody. Like no one knew, nobody fucking knew. And so I jumped off a taper at about 6. It doesn't matter. At like a couple handfuls a day, I jumped off. Like not that big handfuls, like 6 grams a day, maybe 12. But I jumped off, and it was hell. It was absolute hell. But I had the support. I can't do it, but we can do it. And anytime I wrote in the signal, it was surrounded with nothing but love and support and inspiration, and go. And I kept going, and I kept thinking, I got to make it to the pillow. And my days were spent in the early days on my walks with my dog, listening to the podcast, listening to it, so I don't stop and go pick up any kratom until I get home, listening to it in between, and being on there. And I took off of work and was like, I'm sick. I need to be home. And I just surrendered. I surrendered my best intentions. I turned it over. I couldn't do it anymore. And what I found is everyone was right. It does get better. It did get better. It's continually getting better. My worst days now are better than my best days on kratom, hands down. And the reason is because I get to experience like the great reality of like being alive and not being numbed out, And I get to deal with things that come up and be honest about it. And I was on that thing, man. I lived so close to it. And I was like, hey, I want to go I'm having a really bad craving. It's like, yeah, I get it. I get it. Keep going. And then I'll say, I'm making it to the pillow. Make it to the pillow was my mantra. Just make it to the pillow, even though I'm not sleeping. It's okay. And I started to accept that I'm in recovery from a hopeless state. I'm recovering from a nightmare, and there's going to be growing pains. And I learned that from you. I learned that from people being honest about where they came from and where they are now. And I just believed you because I saw the numbers, and I had so much respect that these strangers were welcoming and caring about me and checking on me when they haven't even heard from me for a day because I was doing cool shit. I'm gonna stop at 5:30. I have 5 minutes. I just want to tell you now what it's like. It's I'm having more energy than I ever thought I would have. It's not about my age. It was the kratom. The kratom made me tired, and which made me take the kratom. Me using kratom dampened everything. It numbed everything. It made everything got to a point where it felt heavy and it felt like work. Thawing out from kratom has made things. The biggest surprise was the energy I have. I can't. If I went to the beach in the morning, I was dead all day, and there's no way I can work and even like feel good working. And I've been doing it. I've picked up the instruments again. I've been writing and recording and playing and going. My sister visited with my niece. I thought that was going to exhaust me so much, just all the activities that we planned in Los Angeles and the surrounding areas. I thought, I'm going to die. How am I going to do it? I had the energy to do it. And when I was tired, I was just tired. And when I'm tired at work, I'm just tired at work. Like, that's it. When I'm spinning out, I ask myself this question: how soon do you want to get well? The sooner I get into action, the sooner I get well. The sooner I share about it with someone else, the sooner I get well. I feel better. And I'm not alone with it. And someone's like, yeah, me too. Yeah. I wake up in the morning and I don't always feel great. I've been feeling off because I had so many good days. But I'd rather feel off and know that this is part of early recovery from this drug that had me how do you say bonded. Like, it had me trapped. I was trapped. I could not dig myself out of it. And some people, probably, I know some people took way more than me over way more than the amount of time, and sometimes I would shame about it. But if you think you have a high bottom and you need to go try more, I'm here to tell you the bottom is when you decide to stop digging. I don't care if it's been 3 months and you're hooked. It's when you decide to stop digging. I had to leave my fantasies at the door and get honest in here with myself and with you so I could clear away the fucking lies that I believed were true. It's a nightmare. And if you're new, it doesn't matter if you're new or not. I know we can get well here. I know we can get well with the tools that have been in that are here. The meetings, the signal chat. Man, sometimes I would feel bad interrupting a lot of fun on that signal chat, but I just didn't want to die. You guys saved my life. It's life or death for me. I drove on that shit across the country. I could have died. It's not a joke. It's life or death for me. I don't want to die. I'm tasting the nectar of life now. And it's unbelievably beautiful. And I know that it's going to get better as long as I stay in the herd with you. I love you so much. even if I don't know you, for being here. And I appreciate everyone's acts of service here. A life of service is the most fulfilling life. It is. When I'm consumed with self, I need to get to action and serve others and think of others. And that's not just here, that's in work, that's in creativity, that's in calling someone and seeing how they're doing and not talking about myself. And then I'm okay. I love y'all. That's it. Back at you.